in these situations, 4, 5, and 6, you have ratios that are still time to time, in this example minutes to hours, but they're not the same units of time. It needs to be either minutes to minutes or hours to hours before you reduce the fraction. This is unlike speed, which is a rate, and speed is usually miles per hour or kilometers per hour, and you have like a rate of pay where you have dollars per hour, and those are different types of units. This is time units, but of different measurements of time, and this is length or two-dimensional measurement, but just different size, feet and inches, so you have to make them either both feet or both inches. In here it's also time, but it's time in terms of hours and days, so you need to either make them both hours or both days. Okay, so in each one we have to decide which conversion factor, and I have them listed over here, is going to be useful for the problem. When you have minutes and hours, of course it's smart to use hours and minutes as your conversion factor. This is not dimensional analysis where you have several conversions all at once. We're just converting one thing. So my general rule with conversions are whatever is the larger unit, and in this case hours are the bigger chunk, you change those to the smaller piece. So change your hours to minutes. And whenever you're changing the large thing to the small thing, you multiply. So what it looks like is we're going to try to change 5 hours into minutes. So we are going to multiply by the conversion factor of hours in minutes. And that would be times 60 minutes equals, and that's going to be 3,300. So 300 minutes. Now I know that it's going to be minutes because this conversion factor is really written over the 1 hour, because it's 60 minutes in 1 hour. So it's like you're multiplying 5 hours times the fraction 60 over 1. And that causes these hours to cancel. So you would cross that out. Let's see, how do you do that? Cross it out and cross it out. So your hours go away. And you're left with minutes. Alright, so you took a large thing, the hours, and you changed them to minutes by multiplying by the minutes. So now you have 300 minutes. So then you take this number and it's going to replace the hours. So you now have a ratio that's 3 minutes to 300 minutes, because you converted your 5 hours to minutes. And this got a little bit messed up there. So your new ratio is then, you still have your fraction line there. Let's see. So it's 3 minutes to 300 minutes now that you're reducing as a fraction. And if you divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3, you get 1/100. So the ratio then is 1 over 100 minutes to minutes. And you would want to indicate that you had changed your units to minutes. Okay, so that's the answer for number 4. So then on number 5, you're going to use 1 foot to 12 inches. And you're going to take the larger number, 5 feet, and convert that to inches. 5 feet then is multiplied by the 12 inches, and that will change it to inches. So that becomes 60 inches. And what we did was we used that conversion factor, and the factor is like a fraction. So that's 1 foot, and that will cancel the feet. It's like cross cancellation, really. Okay, so now that you have 60 inches, now you take, and I'm going to draw that to avoid the problem. The 5 feet now is 60 inches. You changed it. So you put 60 inches, or 60 inches. We'll just abbreviate to make it easier. And that's 2 100 inches. That's your new ratio. 2 100 inches, and then that will be your new fraction. So you have 2, just the fraction line, and now you have 60 over 100. And to start to reduce 60 over 100, you can always divide each side by 10, which is just taking 1 0 off, and then divide by 2, which gives you an answer of 3/5. So your ratio becomes 3/5 inches. Make sure you indicate that you changed your units. That's a 5. Okay, so down here for 16 hours to 96 days, we're going to use the 1 day and 24 hours. So we have the larger piece, 96, has to become hours. And let's do the conversion. 96 times 24. 96 times 24. 2,304. Hours, because we made the larger thing the smaller thing. And then we end up with that many hours replacing these 96 days. So you have a new ratio of 16 hours. To, instead of 96 days, 2,304 hours. So that makes a new ratio of 16 to 2, 3, 0, 4. And I'm sure both of these are divisible by 4. But let's try to see if 2,304 is also divisible by 8 or something. Because 16 is divisible by 8. Divided by 8 equals 288. It is. I'm going to take it one step further. Is 2,304 divisible by 16? It is. So that's even better. So then we divide both top and bottom by 16. And I didn't write this down on the other ones, but I'll write it down here. I'm dividing both by 16. And that's an equal sign. And I'm going to have 1 over 144. And that is hours. We changed that to hours. Okay, so these are your answers then for 4, 5, and 6.